morning, all the centers. Yes, children, how are you? Tell me. Good morning. Okay, fine. So, we are again meeting up once in a week, isn't it? We are meeting once in a week to discuss some of the topics that are going to be very important for the NEET, isn't it? So tell me what I was discussing in the last class. Tell me, what was the discussion about last class? Yes? Shillong, tell me, how are you? Yes. Somebody can please type. Yeah, I can see your thumbs up. I know you are good. It's nice to know. Yes, Shillong. Tell me. What were we discussing in the last class? Okay, we were discussing about human heart, isn't it? So, did I ask you to study something? Yes, I got your answer. Did I ask you to go back home and study something? Yes, children, tell me. Did I ask you to go back home and study something? From today onwards, I would be giving you assignment. Isn't it? Okay, no, I did not ask you. Okay, from today onwards, I am going to be very strict, and we will be discussing some assignments. Okay, so I will be giving you assignments. You go back home, and you can individually send me those answers on my personal number. I guess we are linked on the WhatsApp groups, isn't it? So, what you will be doing today is, you will be going home, you will be solving those assignments that will be reaching you by evening or by night, I guess, by 9 o'clock 9 p.m. So, you will be going back home and start doing those assignments from today onwards. So, from next class onwards, I will be asking you first, what was the assignment, and then I will be moving ahead with the class. Okay, fine. Those will be MCQs. No need to worry about that. Those will be MCQs of like hardly 20 questions. So taking you 20 valuable minutes. Okay, fine. So tell me how is your study going on? How are your studies going on? Tell me. Are you able to cope up with the syllabus? Are you finding it to be difficult or easy? How is it? Yes, Shillong, tell me. How are these studies going on? Yes. Shillong, did you settle? Have you settled? Okay, great. Tell me. So, good means, are you practicing MCQs? Are you practicing MCQs on a daily basis? Yes. Are you practicing MCQs on a daily basis? Tell me. Yes, children? No. Why? See, your questions are going to be only in the form of MCQs. Okay? The pattern for NEET is multiple choice questions. You have to solve multiple choice questions. You have to. It's mandatory. Unless and until you train your brain, it would be very difficult on your part to participate, to compete with children who are actually doing many questions in a single day. Okay? So from today onwards, you will start practicing MCQs also. You have to participate in that. Multiple choice questions. So from next class onwards, you are going to tell me how many multiple choice questions you have solved in whole week. Obviously, I will be talking about my subject. Okay? Am I clear? Tell me, children. Am I clear? Am I clear? Raise your hands if I am clear. All of you. All of you raise your hands if I am clear. Okay, very nice. Okay. So we were discussing human heart in the last class. I will be continuing with that topic. I guess we have done the structure of the heart, isn't it? So which are the bigger chambers? Name the bigger chambers. Name the bigger chambers of your heart. Which are the bigger chambers of your heart? Yes, children, tell me. Which are the bigger chambers? Auricles or ventricles? Which are bigger in size? Auricle or ventricle? Yes, children. Which are bigger in size? Auricles or ventricles? I must have taught you if I have taught the structure of heart. Exactly. So the ventricles happen to be the larger chambers, whereas auricles happens to be the smaller chambers. So I have taught you about chordae tendineae. Tell me, did I teach you this? Did I teach you this? Did I teach you chordae tendineae? Tell me yes or no. Have we discussed chordae tendineae? What is that? No. Okay, fine. And how are you going to say yes? If that is no, how are you going to say yes? Okay, fine. Okay, nice one. So let us start rewriting the structure of the heart. I guess we did not do the structure thoroughly. So we will be starting with the structure of the heart. Please draw along with me. So symmetry is one of my biggest problems. I fail to maintain symmetry always. So that is the most important thing you have to keep in mind. The symmetry of the chambers, the symmetry of the parts. Okay. So anyhow, the diagram should be. Did we study this? Tell me. In the last class, did I taught you about the structure of the heart in this way? So this is the human heart in my way. This is going to be easy to learn, easy to discuss. In your books, you have a heart which is actually very much correct, but not that clear to draw. Okay. So this is going to be the structure of the heart for the simplest version. So this happens to be the right auricle. This is the left auricle. This is the right ventricle. This is the left ventricle. Okay. Now the heart is enclosed in a double membrane wall called as pericardium. What is pericardium? It is a double membrane structure covering the heart. Am I clear, Shillong? So what is pericardium? Pericardium is a double membrane structure which is covering the heart. Okay, let us now move ahead. I'm going to draw the typical vessels that bring blood into your heart. So this is bringing blood from different parts of your body. So whatever part is above the heart, okay, whatever parts are of the heart that is connected to heart by a superior vena cava. They are also called as precaval vein. So what is precaval vein? Precaval vein or superior vena cava brings blood from any part superior to your heart. So all these parts which are above your heart would be submitting their blood into the heart through superior vena cava or precaval vein. Next, we have inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava will be bringing blood from any part below the heart. So it would be named accordingly as post-caval vein. Let me know if my writing is not legible anywhere. So this is going to submit all the blood into the right auricle. So when both of the vena cava, isn't it, superior and inferior, they merge together, we give a collective term called as vena cava. So vena cava is the larger vein that submits the blood from superior and inferior vena cava. Okay. Now this is, I have drawn three structures because I want to mention them as tricuspid valve. The blood is flowing away from the heart, obviously for the purpose of purification. It is going to the lungs, and the artery is known as pulmonary artery. And this is going to the lungs. The blood from the lungs comes back after oxygenation, and the vein that brings back is called as pulmonary vein. This is the bicuspid valve. Bi means two and tri means three. That is why we have marked tricuspid and bicuspid valve. Okay, so they are moving down to the body by aorta. So aorta happens to be the largest artery that actually takes away blood from the heart. So there will be a huge pressure on the left ventricle, and that actually makes the walls of left ventricle the thickest one. Why? Because it has to handle a great amount of pressure that we actually use to pump blood. Has the thickest wall. Okay, because of higher pressure, it has to withstand higher pressure. In order to withstand that high pressure, what they have, adaptation, actually they have the thickest wall. So that is what is the most important feature that MCQs ask about. So there is two important thing more, pericardium. Now this is double membrane structure, isn't it? That means in between two membranes there must be some space. So I'll be discussing this also. So when you talk about pericardium, this is double membrane, and in between the membrane we have pericardial fluid. Fine, first copy this, let me know, then we'll follow with the next page. Okay, so I was talking about, the question was chordae tendineae, isn't it? So now just imagine a situation. Okay, so just imagine a situation in your classroom. You have a door, isn't it? What kind of door you have? Does it indicate pull or push, or it is a sliding door? What kind of door you have in your classroom? Is it a sliding door or it is pull or push? What kind of door is it? Tell me. Okay, fine. So you must be having a kind of passage that actually allows the door to open to a certain extent only. Suppose this is a particular door length, whole length of the door. So you are actually using a kind of hinge at the corner that allows your door to open up to this direction, isn't it? It is not going to open to this direction, is it? So if this is a door, you are only going to open it in this way, up to this way only. Either this or this. That is what is, we are limiting the opening of the door in a limited passage only. So that is what is our heart is also having. Our heart is also having certain kinds of structures which actually don't allow the tricuspid and bicuspid valve to open in the opposite direction. So tricuspid and bicuspid valve are allowed to open in this direction only. Can you see this? So they are allowed to open in this direction only, in this direction only. So they cannot open in that direction, the opposite direction. So in order to avoid that opening, what our heart is doing? Our heart is actually having certain kinds of cords, certain kinds of ropes. Why? Just to hold the heart, to hold the valve from opening behind. So this is the cords or the ropes are called as chordae tendineae. How many of you have got the concept? What is chordae tendineae doing? Chordae tendineae will prevent the opening of the tricuspid and bicuspid valve in the right and left auricles respectively. So the valves will be only and only made to open in the ventricle. So the door is going to open only outside, not inside, isn't it? So if the ventricles are the outside part, the door is going to open only in outside part, but never inside of your class, isn't it? The door will not open two sides. It will either go outside the class or it will be closed. So that is what is chordae tendineae is also supposed to do. Chordae tendineae actually prevents the opening of your tricuspid and bicuspid valve in the opposite direction, that is in the auricles. Let me know if it is clear. Yes, children? Clear? All of you? Very good. Okay. Now, my heart's ventricle is actually not very smooth, but it has certain ridges on the surface. It's not smooth, but it has certain ridges. I'm actually marking the ridges in blue just to communicate to you nicely. So they have certain ridges, and those ridges are named as columnae carneae. It is C-O-L-U-M-N-A-E, carneae. So what is columnae carneae? They are the ridges on the surface of ventricles. Am I clear? So is the diagram very much clear to one and all? Tell me if it is not. Is it clear? Everybody? Is it clear? Yes, children? Fine. Can you move ahead? So what is the function of chordae tendineae? What is the function of chordae tendineae? Is somebody typing the answer? Let me know. What is the function of chordae tendineae? Yes, one of you please. Type on everybody's behalf. Valves. What valves? Prevents the opening of the valve in auricles. Write it. Write it. Everybody on their copy. Please mention the function of chordae tendineae also. What it is doing? It prevents the opening of tricuspid and bicuspid valves in the auricles. So they won't allow the opening in the auricles, and that is courtesy the chordae tendineae. Fine. So there must be a valve here also. Did you copy this? Yes, children? You need to copy this also. Pericardium. Fine. Very good. So one more thing. You need to have a valve over here also. Why? Just in order to prevent the backflow of the blood. And these valves are called as semilunar valve. So a total of 4 valves you have studied till now. One is tricuspid, one is bicuspid, and the 2 are semilunar valves. What does semilunar valve do? It actually guards the pulmonary artery and aorta. Okay? Am I clear up to this? Now, we have one more valve over here at the guarding of the superior vena cava, and that valve, the pink one, is called as Eustachian valve. There's a tube also, Eustachian tube, that is present in your ear, in your middle ear. This is Eustachian valve, which is actually present in your heart. So be very, very typical about similar sounding words. Eustachian tube, Eustachian valve. Valve is in your heart, tube is in your middle ear. You can just add a small note. If you have written Eustachian valve, you can just add a small note in the margin area. Eustachian tube is present in the middle ear. Just add a small note. Eustachian tube, TUBE, is present in the middle ear. Okay. How many of you are at the center, Shillong? How many of you are at the center now? Okay, nice. So, shall I proceed? Are we done up to this? Yes, children, tell me. Are the things clear? Okay, very nice. All of you? Okay, very good. So, I'm moving ahead. Shall I move ahead? Now, we will be encountering 2 different kinds of heart. Have you copied this? Tell me, have you copied this slide? Okay, very good. All of you. Okay, I'm moving ahead. So, we'll be encountering 2 different kinds of heart. One I would be calling it to be neurogenic heart, and the other is myogenic heart. Have you heard these terms earlier? Have you heard these terms earlier? Tell me. Have you heard these terms earlier? Neurogenic and myogenic. Have you? No, okay. So, the first and foremost thing, what I will be starting with, have you seen in movies or in sci-fi movies or in any kind of documentaries, there is a big jar kind of structure and there's a human heart placed in the jar which actually keeps on beating. Have you seen that thing in sci-fi movies or in case of any documentary? Just before heart transplantation, the heart is placed in a jar-like structure in a big vessel with some fluid around it, and the heart is ready for transplantation. Before that, it keeps on beating. Have you seen? You must have seen those things, isn't it? But that is the only thing which actually a human heart or a mammalian heart will be characterized by. If you talk about the heart of invertebrates like cockroach, frog, they won't be showing that property. If you are taking out its heart, in case of cockroach or frog, they will be actually stopping, they will stop their beating there and then itself. Once isolated away from the body, the heart stops to beat. That is called as neurogenic heart. But when the heart keeps on beating, when took away from the body, that is what is a myogenic heart. The reason being simple. See, the neurogenic heart stops beating. Why? Because the origin of impulse, all of you know what is depolarization, isn't it? The origin of impulse or depolarization waves is from group of neurons. So whenever you are encountering a group of neurons, from now onwards you will be calling them to be ganglion. So it is from the group of neurons, and this group of neurons is present, which is present outside the heart. So obviously when you are separating the heart, actually what you are doing is you are breaking the connection between the ganglion and the heart. So obviously this heart is going to stop its beating. So these hearts, when taken out, from the body, heart stops what? Heart stops beating. So this is actually present in organisms or animals like cockroach, frog. Okay? And what about them? The origin of impulse or depolarization is from group of neurons, is from so the muscle nodes are present inside the heart. That is why when heart is taken out, it continues to beat. Isn't it? It will keep on discharging the impulses, it will keep on beating, and this is what we actually see in the case of mammals and we too, as humans. The whole thing is clear. So now from now onwards you will be very much clear with this thing, that if you are dissociating, if you are taking out the heart of a cockroach or a frog, it will immediately stop beating. Why? Because it's a neurogenic heart, and a neurogenic heart actually discharges or has the origin of impulse from a ganglion. What is ganglion? Ganglion is a group of neurons. If it is a single group, it's called as ganglion. If the group is more than one, it's called as ganglia. The plural is ganglia, the singular is ganglion. So this ganglion is actually setting impulses, firing stimulus, isn't it? And because of those stimuli, what happens is the heart keeps on beating. So when you are breaking the connection, since the heart is having no impulse, so it will stop beating. Whereas in case of mammals or humans, what happens is the origin of impulse or depolarization is from muscle nodes, which are present inside the heart itself. So we'll be discussing about these muscle nodes now. So we all have muscle nodes present inside our heart, and that is what is responsible for the beating of our heart. So if heart transplantation is possible, that is basically because of these muscle nodes which keep on discharging impulses from the heart, isn't it? They are present inside the heart. Okay, how many students are having first zoology class with me? How many of you are having first zoology class? How many of you are meeting first time? Okay. So are the things clear? We have started a fresh topic, human heart. Are the things clear? Let me know. We don't have any connection till now from the last topics. Are the things clear? Just raise your hands if the things are clear. Just raise your hands. Okay, nice. Very good. So just let me know in case if you are not clear with anything. We are supposed to actually type and communicate. So you are free to type anything if the things are not clear to you at any point of time. Okay? See, if I'm running on 5th slide and you have a problem in 1st slide, you can ask me that also freely. Fine? So, what is your heart? Is it myogenic or neurogenic? Tell me. What is your heart? Is it myogenic or neurogenic? Yes. What is your heart? Myogenic and neurogenic. See, I'm looking at the screen. That means I want a typed answer. What is your heart? Is it myogenic or neurogenic? Please type it. Anybody among you? Is it neurogenic or myogenic? Okay, myo. Fine. So, now we are very much clear with the types of heart we are having. Very nice. Very good. So, let us see the typical positions of the 3 muscle nodes. So, this happened to be the structure of the heart. Just now we have discussed this thing. Again I am drawing it. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. I want to show these locations of the 3 muscle nodes. Okay, fine. No problem. Okay. This was the tricuspid valve. This was the bicuspid valve. So I am drawing 3 things, 3 at one point, because I want to show to you that it is tricuspid, so that you can learn. Actually, it is not very much correct. Okay, I should not draw in that way, but I actually draw in that way just to make you remember things. So if it is 3, see, it is not in that way actually, but I draw it always to make my students learn this thing. See, if I am talking about tricuspid and bicuspid valve, this is not actually 3. But I intentionally make 3 separate structures so that you can learn that it is tricuspid. Tricuspid means 3 cusps. Okay, and bicuspid or mitral valve. Bicuspid is also called as mitral valve. You can mention over here, this is also called as mitral valve. So bicuspid or mitral valve, they are having 2 cusps. Okay? Clear with this? So come back to the myogenic part. I was discussing something. So this is what is the basic idea we are having. So the red structures I am drawing are the parts responsible for the myogenic activity of your heart. Isn't it? Our heart is a myogenic one because of certain special structures. So this happens to be the SA node, or called as sino-auricular node. This is AV node, auriculo-ventricular node. This is the bundle of His. This is Purkinje fibers. So this would be number 1, this would be number 2, and what we do is that we take this together as number 3. So bundle of His actually goes into the ventricular wall and extends by the name of Purkinje fibers. Let me know when you have done with copying. I'm waiting. Okay, very good. Okay, children, I'm moving ahead. I'll be sharing some properties of these things. Okay, these 3. So location wise, it is very much clear, isn't it? Let's write its location. So we have what? We have muscle nodes. How many in number? They are actually 3 in number. The first happens to be the sino-auricular node. Where is it present? It is present at right corner of right auricle. So right corner, right auricle. What we have is sino-auricular node. So this discharges impulse at the rate of 70 to 75 times per minute. One thing more very much important to notice over here is that this is actually the particular times our heart also beats, isn't it? The number of times your heart beats is actually 70 to 75 times. We standardize it to 72 times in a single minute. So this is actually the SA node which is responsible for setting the number of times your heart should be beating. So what we do is that we call the SA node to be pacemaker of your heart. What is it? Tell me, what is it? It is pacemaker. Have you heard about pacemaker? Have you heard about artificial pacemaker? You must have heard. So this is what is natural pacemaker of your heart, called as SA node or sino-auricular node. Now, next what we have is, we have AV node. AV node actually is present where? In the left corner of right auricle near AV septum. What is septum? Septum in biology means wall. Like you are sitting in one of the classes at the center, isn't it? So all the classes, they are separated by means of walls. So similarly, we have many chambers in our heart separated by septum. Let us see once again the diagram. See. So this is one septum. Sorry. Okay, let us go back. Instead of highlighting, I erased actually. Okay, so this is going to be a septum. I'm indicating in yellow one. So this is all septum, the ones I'm indicating in the yellow. So this is going to be septum. So what is septum? Septum is actually a wall that separates the chambers. So your heart is actually a very, very big case in which we are actually putting different wall-like structures, and these wall-like structures are called what? They are called as septum. Like you can see over here, if I'm talking about a septum over here, this will be interauricular septum, since it is separating the auricles. This would be the interventricular septum, this thing. This is interauricular septum, this is interventricular septum, and this is going to be the AV septum, that is auriculoventricular septum. This is AV septum. Just rename this also. This is AV septum. This is auriculoventricular septum. And this also happens at one point of time if you are taking the whole structure together. This also is called as AV septum, if you are taking the whole structure. So if you are only talking about this part, this would be interauricular septum. Okay, if you are talking about this part, this is going to be interauricular septum. If about this part to this part, this is interventricular septum. But if you are talking about the whole line, isn't it? It is going to be called as interventricular septum. So let us clean the diagram. We might have its use. Okay, nice. Am I clear? Am I clear with the things? So what happens is, near the interventricular septum, what do we have? Near the interventricular septum, we have AV node, that is auriculoventricular node, that is its name indicating. So what it does is that, this is something new for you, this also discharges impulse at the rate of 50 to 55 times per minute. Now coming to the bundle of hairs and its expansion, Purkinje fibers. So what they do is that this is present in the AV septum, isn't it? This was present in the AV septum and in the walls of ventricles. So they also discharge impulse, but at a very, very weak rate of about 20 to 25 times per minute. So this is what is the typical structure we are having. First is the SA node, then we have is AV node, followed by bundle of hairs and Purkinje fibers. So what is bundle of hairs and Purkinje fiber doing? It is actually present in the AV septum and also the walls of the ventricles. And what does it do? It discharges impulse at the rate of 20 to 25 times in a single minute. Okay? Things are clear? So answer me, did you copy everything? Did you copy everything? Yes, children? Okay, so one question for you. What happens if the SA node stops working? Let us write down this question. What will happen if SA node stops working? First option. Heart stops beating. Number 2, heart will beat at a slower rate. Number 3, AV node will heart will follow Yes, tell me. Type the answer, please. Is it 1, 2, 3, or both 2 and 3? You seem to be tired. Okay, we are still left with a huge portion of the class. Fine. Tell me. Okay, 4th. So, very much correct. Very good. So, it's very much clear now that if in any case the SA node stops working, the AV node is going to take its place and start to set an impulse at the rate of 50 to 55 times in a minute, in a single minute. And that would obviously make the heart to beat at the slower rate. So both the options are correct. Very nice. So can we call AV node to be pace setter of the heart? We can. So we will be calling AV node to be pace setter of your heart. So pacemaker is SA node, pace setter is AV node. Okay, very good. So only showing you certain things. So this is the simple flow of the heart. Okay. So let us have some questions. Okay. Can you answer this question? Can you answer this question? Supposed to is this, but let me know if can you answer. Yes, any idea? Okay, just let me teach you this thing. Okay, let us come back to our text part, and what you have is double circulation. Now, what do you mean by double circulation? Just see your heart in a simple box-like structure. What happens is, there is blood entering from the body in the right auricle, going in the right ventricle, and then going in the lungs. Then the blood comes back. I'll be marking this with blue. So the blood comes back from the lungs, goes into the left auricle, from left auricle into the left ventricle, and from left ventricle into the body. So it comes back again to the body, isn't it? So we have two circuits over here. Can you see this thing? We have two circuits over here. What we have is, number one, we have this particular part, which is actually the right part of the heart, which is receiving the impure blood and supplying it to the lungs for purification. So this particular part of the body, it can be termed as pulmonary circulation. So what is pulmonary circulation? Pulmonary means something pertaining to lungs. So it starts from right auricle, goes into the right ventricle, then goes into the lungs, and from lungs it ends up in the left auricle. This is pulmonary circulation. Systemic circulation is the second part of the double circulation. This systemic circulation deals with whole of the system. System means your body parts. So it starts from the, we can say the things are merging, but still starts from the left auricle, goes to the left ventricle, into the body, and from the body into the right auricle. So this happens to be the systemic circulation part. So blood circulates through our body two times. One, when it is supplying to the lungs from the body, and the other when it is from the body to the lungs. Okay, when lungs are involved, it is called as pulmonary. When system is involved, body is involved, it is called as, so this would be somewhat like this. So heart to lungs is actually the pulmonary part, and when heart sends to body and back to heart is the systemic part. So this is another way to represent the same thing, that is the pulmonary and the systemic circulation as a whole. So now can you answer this question? Can you try to answer this question? Let us see once again. This was the question. It was asking you that the particular part is systemic circulation pathway. So it starts from the right ventricle, pulmonary aorta, tissues, pulmonary veins, and left auricle. So systemic circulation, so systemic circulation, they are asking you starts from right ventricle. No. From the right ventricle part, if you remember this particular part, it is going to the lungs. So this whole part actually indicates the pulmonary circulation. Coming to this, from the left auricle to the left ventricle to the aorta. Okay, you have answered already. Okay, very nice. Aorta to the arteries, tissues, veins, and right auricle. This whole part represents your what? Systemic circulation. So the answer should be B option. Fine? Okay, answer this question. I taught you this. Okay, very good. This happens to be chordae tendineae. Okay, have you an idea about the portal system? Have you an idea about portal system? No. Oh my God, big no. Okay. So let us discuss first. Are we clear with double circulation? Okay. So what is portal system? No idea. Okay, I forgot that. So what is portal system? See, what should happen every time the organs, they are supposed to send all their blood into the heart, isn't it? The organs are supposed to send their blood into the heart. That is what is mandatory. Okay, very good. So what if an organ, suppose this is organ 1, is sending blood to first organ 2 and then to heart? What about this? If this thing happens, this is what we are considering to be portal system. You did not copy this? Okay, fine. No issues? Okay. Your every answer is actually coming 2 times to me. All the answers from your side. I guess there is serious communication problem. Okay, no problem. So I can see one more center logged in. What is, which center we are connected to apart from Shillong? Yes? Which is the other center we are connected to? Okay, Churachandpur, how are you? Good afternoon. Yes, Churachandpur, are we connected? Did we copy this slide? Yes, Shillong? Tell me, Churachandpur, did you copy this slide? Okay, fine. I will take it as yes. Yes, Churachandpur? Okay. This portal system story is clear. So what is portal system? So instead of going from organ to heart directly, if blood from one organ goes to another organ and then to heart, it is called as portal system. Okay? So we in animal kingdom, we have 3 different kinds of portal system. Let us see them one by one. The first is hypophyseal portal system. The second is hepatic portal system. And the third is renal portal system. So we have 3 portal systems in the animal kingdom. The first is hypophyseal, second is hepatic, third is renal. Tell me, children, if you have copied the slide. Very nice. So, Churachandpur, you have copied this slide. Can I move ahead? So, we have is hypophyseal portal system. See, hypo over here pertains to hypothalamus. And physeal is from the word physis, that extends to pituitary. So what happens is, blood from hypothalamus first goes to pituitary, and from pituitary it goes to the heart. This constitutes the hypophyseal portal system. This constitutes the hypophyseal portal system. So, what does this blood have? This blood has actually hormones. We'll be discussing this in a chapter called as Chemical Control and Coordination. What kind of hormones? We will be having a detailed discussion on this. Okay. Now, what we have is hepatic portal system. The question was about this only. So, what is hepatic portal system? Churachandpur, are you getting things? Is everything clear, whatever is being taught? Are the things clear? Tell me, Churachandpur. How many of you are at the center? Very nice. How many of you are at the center now? So, what happens in hepatic portal system? See, this is important. You have to say this also. Blood from intestine, blood from stomach, blood from pancreas and spleen. All this together goes into the liver. I need to have a bigger arrow. Goes into the liver. And this system is called as hepatic portal vein. Okay, this is hepatic portal vein. P dot vein is portal vein. So this goes to liver, and from liver it goes to heart. So a question might arise in your mind that all the blood which is reaching into your liver is from the organs like intestine, stomach, pancreas, spleen. That means all the blood reaching to liver is actually deoxygenated. Isn't it? Should be deoxygenated. But it is not. Why? Because hepatic portal system only transports 80% of the blood to the liver. The rest blood is actually coming from the hepatic artery, directly from the heart. So heart is responsible to supply somewhat 20% of the pure blood to your liver. And this particular thing, when it supplies to liver from heart, is actually called as hepatic vein. So this was hepatic portal vein and this is hepatic vein. Mind the difference. Portal vein is actually when the organs are supplying blood to the heart. I will be just writing it more clearly. I am in a doubt that you might be confused. Okay, I have a small doubt. So I am writing it again. So this is hepatic portal vein. Okay. So hepatic portal vein means the organs supplying to the liver, and hepatic vein means liver supplying all the blood to the heart. 80% blood from the organs, 20% pure blood from the heart makes your liver work in a fabulous way. Okay? Am I clear, children? Yes, Shillong, Churachandpur, tell me if I'm clear. So this is what is called as hepatic portal vein. Very good. So this is what is called as hepatic portal system. This is an important concept. You need to remember this thing. Okay, this is important thing. We'll be adding some extra things on it when we'll be studying the excretory system. Fine? So let's move ahead. Third thing, isn't it? One more system was there. This is renal portal system. See, renal portal system is actually a system which is present only in case of those animals where the heart supplies mixed blood. If the heart supplies mixed blood, the renal portal system will come in picture. So name the organisms which have this kind of blood supply. Name the organisms which have this kind of blood supply. Mixed blood, the heart is pumping mixed blood. Tell me, amphibians and reptiles. Bird, the heart is four-chambered purely. We have gone through these things in the last class. So those who are new, they can just take an account of it, that we actually have different kinds of chambers in the heart. Like for fish, we have 2 chambers. In case of amphibia, we have 3 chambers. In case of reptiles, we have 3. Crocodile is an exception to it. And in case of birds and mammals, we have 4-chambered heart where there is no mixing of the blood. Now imagine a condition where the mixed blood is actually transferred to all the body parts. Obviously, the pressure on the heart would be very, very high to get it purified as soon as possible. Isn't it? Just imagine a condition when the ventricles are pumping mixed blood. So the pressure on the heart will be high to get it purified in a very, very immediate manner. As soon as possible, that should be purified. But what happens in case of reptiles is that we have an additional system. What? Up to reptiles only. Not in case of birds or mammals. So what do reptiles have? They actually have renal portal system where the kidneys have a direct access. Okay, the kidneys have a direct access from the posterior part of the body. So what do kidneys remove? Yes, children, tell me. Shillong, Churachandpur, what do kidneys remove? What does kidney removes? Yes. Children? Tell me please. What is the kidney removing? Yes, Churachandpur, Shillong. Answer me please. What is the kidney removing? I need a typed answer. Yes, Shillong, Churachandpur. What is the kidney removing? What happened? What is your kidney removing? What is going on in the class? One of you please get up and type, Shillong. Or there is somebody already there to type. Churachandpur, what is your kidney removing? It is removing nitrogenous waste, isn't it? It is removing urea, ammonia, uric acid. This is an easy question. So kidneys, what they do is that they remove nitrogenous waste. No. They don't deoxygenate the blood. They have nothing to do with the oxygenation part. Everything with oxygenation will be done by lungs. Okay? What is kidney doing? Kidney is actually reducing the metabolic waste load on the blood by getting a direct supply from the posterior part of the body. So, What it is doing is that it is actually reducing the garbage to the heart. Fine? Am I clear? So this is only up to reptiles. You don't have this system. We don't have this system. So those animals which are supplying mixed blood to their body, they are only having renal portal system. So we have only two of the portal system. That is, first is hypophyseal and the second is hepatic. Clear? Tell me children, all of you are clear with this? Okay, very good. Everybody. Churachandpur? Is the concept clear? Okay, can now you answer this question? Can you answer this question now? This can have multiple answers. This can have multiple answers. Yes, Shillong, Churachandpur? Tell me. This can have multiple answers. What is taking so late? Okay, fine. I got an answer from Churachandpur. Very good. Shillong, what is? Okay, fine. The heart. Are you sure? Shillong, are you sure it is the heart? Are you sure about it? Tell me, Shillong. Are you sure the hepatic portal vein drains blood to liver from heart? Hepatic portal vein drains blood from to heart. See the notes you have been given? Just have a look at the notes you have been taught just now. See, this was the hepatic portal vein part. Just now I have taught you this thing. How can you make a mistake? See, this was the hepatic portal vein part. Isn't it? And I told you the option can be multiple. It can be stomach, intestine, it can be pancreas, spleen. Now you have two of these options. So your correct answer should have been between intestine or stomach. Okay? See. So the correct answer can be either stomach or intestine. Since I told you it's a multiple answer, there are multiple answers for this question. So your answer should have been either of them. Both of them would have done the same thing. So it's both A and C as the correct answer. Fine? Am I clear? Okay, tell me about this question. Blood pressure in the pulmonary aorta. Blood pressure in the pulmonary aorta. How is the blood pressure in the pulmonary aorta? How would you calculate it? Same as that in aorta? More than that in the carotid. Now carotid artery is an artery which supplies blood to your brain. So from aorta the blood goes into your brain through carotid artery. More than that in the pulmonary vein or less than that in the vena cava. You can locate pulmonary artery, isn't it? So the blood pressure in pulmonary artery is more than that in the pulmonary vein. Same as that in aorta. Remember, aorta is supplying to the body. fine. What is the answer? Yes. Shillong. What happened? You seem to be bored. What happened? Tell me. Don't want to study? What happened? Feeling lazy? Bored? Yes, tell me. Okay, fine. So less than in Vinakawa. That was your guess, I guess. Churachandpur, what about you? What should be your answer? Yes? Yes, I know, Shillong. See, the thing is that when you're talking about the 1 minute, when you are talking about the question was the blood pressure in pulmonary aorta. Let's see the whole diagram. So the question was that the blood pressure in pulmonary artery, this thing, is more than what? Isn't it? So one thing was this part, the other was this part, and the other was aorta. So one thing you have to keep in mind that if blood is being pumped from the heart, isn't it? If the blood is being pumped from the heart, it needs to be at a pressure which is same as aorta. It cannot be. Why? Because I have taught you this thing that the walls of the left ventricle only are thicker. Isn't it? The walls of left ventricle are supposed to be thick compared to the rest of the three chambers. So this option is clearly overruled. More than that in carotid. Now carotid is an artery, I told you, which is supplying blood to the brain. So if it was aorta, the aorta was wrong, how can be the carotid correct? So carotid also wrong answer. So less than in vena cava, no. The pulmonary artery is actually having the blood which is pumped by the heart. And vena cava is actually pouring in the blood which is coming from the body. So obviously if it is coming from the body, it will be having a less pressure than the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery will always be having more pressure than the vena cava. If the option would have been more here, more than in vena cava, it would have been a correct option. Now, excuse me, only option left is it is more than the pulmonary vein. Obviously, it is more than that of pulmonary vein. Why? Because we have a system where the pulmonary vein is pouring blood from the lungs. The blood is actually coming from the lungs and getting poured in the pulmonary vein. Lungs in any case will be pouring the things with a lesser pressure when you compare the thing to the heart. So heart will be pumping blood in any case with a pressure more than that of pulmonary vein, and that makes this answer to be correct. This is the correct option. Am I clear? Everybody? Yes, children? Everybody, I guess, must be clear. Let us move ahead. Okay. Bundle of hairs is a part of which one of the following organs? Easy one. Very good. So, very nice. So, answer was C. So, what we'll be doing is that, the things are clear up to here. What we'll be doing is that we'll take a small break of like 10 minutes. Okay, just take a small break of 10 minutes, freshen up yourself, and we'll resume the class with the cardiac cycle. The next topic I'll be starting now would be cardiac cycle. Okay. So how was your break, children? Okay, refreshed? Are you feeling refreshed after the break? Okay, fine, very good. Okay. So we are supposed to start with a new topic, that is cardiac cycle, isn't it? Have you heard about cardiac cycle earlier? Tell me. Have you heard about cardiac cycle earlier? Everybody? Everybody? Just give me a thumbs up if you have heard about cardiac cycle earlier also. Tell me. What is cardiac cycle? Okay, all of you have heard. Very good. So what is cardiac cycle? It's actually a cyclic event, isn't it? Which is cyclic, a cyclic event which is repeating every time our heart is beating. So, cyclic event, sequences followed one after another, fixed. Okay, since it is a cyclic event, we can start from anywhere. But what I prefer is, I will be preferring to start from a phase called as joint diastole. So, joint diastole. So, before we start this thing, I'll be making you aware about two terms. One is systole and other is diastole. Systole refers to the contraction of the heart, and diastole refers to be the relaxation of the heart. So contraction of the heart is, when the heart contracts, it is called as systole, and when heart relaxes, it is called as diastole. So obviously, joint diastole means a phase where the auricles and ventricles are in a relaxed state. So both auricles and ventricles are in a relaxed state in a phase called as joint diastole. Clear? Yes, children? So, let us see our heart when in joint diastole. So, these auricles are relaxed, these ventricles are also relaxed. So, what is happening? The blood rushes into the heart from the body, from the lungs, into the auricles, from the auricles into the ventricles. Now this makes a thing very much clear that pulmonary vein, vena cava, tricuspid, bicuspid valves are open. What? That is number 1, pulmonary vein. Number 2, vena cava. Number 3, tricuspid. Number 4, bicuspid are open. That makes the heart filled with blood. So all the chambers are relaxed now. But the semilunar walls are closed, isn't it? The semilunar walls are closed. These walls are closed. And what if they are closed? What would happen if they are closed? Tell me. The blood will not be allowed to move from the heart. So blood is coming into the heart, but it is not allowed to move away from the heart. How many of you are clear with this idea? Tell me, children. Yes? Tell me. Okay, very good. Everybody. Come on, you just came back from the break. You must be filled with energy now. Did you eat something in the break? Okay, very good, very nice. Did you eat something in the break? Did you eat something in break? No, why? Why don't you get small things to eat? Some fruits? No. Everybody is no. You should actually carry very light things in your bag like biscuits, apple, banana, so that whenever you can have small meals, isn't it? That gives you actually energy. You should have actually. Whenever you are supposed to come to classes, you should have 2-3 lunch boxes, isn't it? Okay, fine. Me as a teacher, I am very typical about these things, especially about biology things. Okay, since you don't have glucose in your body, your brain will be deprived of glucose. You will not have that much energy. So, studying, teaching, learning actually requires a huge amount of energy input. So, if you are not having small meals, your brain will be deprived of glucose. It will run out of energy and you will be exhausted. Okay? So, keep small tiffins, small packages, biscuits, chocolates, whatever you like, fruits, apple, banana, they are more healthier although. So you can have those things to have during breaks, isn't it? In every class you must be having a break of 5-10 minutes. You can have those things in that break. Okay, so make sure you are getting those things from next day. Okay, that will be giving you energy. So semilunar walls are closed. So what will happen? The blood is coming in the heart from number 1 body and number 2 lungs, but it is prevented to move away from the heart. So it is filled with the blood, but blood is not allowed to move away from the heart. Am I clear? Tell me, children. If I am not, just let me know. Am I clear? So what is open? What is open? Many things are open. Pulmonary vein is open, vena cava is open, tricuspid is open, bicuspid is open. What is closed? Only semilunar walls are closed. So the heart is having a huge amount of blood flow. Next thing, number 2. Remember the SA node we discussed? Remember that? So now that SA node discharges the impulse, and because of this impulse, the auricles start to contract. And this phase is called as auricular systole. Isn't it? So because of the discharge from the SA node, remember sino-auricular node, the auricles, they start to contract and they enter in a phase of auricular systole. So when they contract, what they are going to do? They push the blood, into ventricles. So this pushing of blood in the ventricles actually makes the ventricle to be filled with blood at 30% higher rate. So for example, if suppose the earlier rate of filling blood in ventricle was 100 ml, just take example. For example, it was 100 ml. Now after auricular systole, the rate will increase by 30%, making your ventricles to get 130 ml of blood. So now earlier it was 100 ml, now it would be 130 ml. So direct increase of 30%. Fine? So this makes the ventricles filled with blood. Now the next phase after auricular systole, after the auricles have contracted, the next phase, that is the third phase, is actually ventricular systole. So this is what is going to happen. The ventricles are filled with blood but auricles do not have blood. So this makes the thing clear that ventricles, they now have a lot of blood, all the blood in fact. Fine. So what was first phase? The first phase was joint diastole. Joint diastole where the auricles and ventricles were in a relaxed state, and pulmonary vein, vena cava, tricuspid, bicuspid walls, all these things were open. So blood was rushing in the heart, but it was not allowed to move away from the heart as the semilunar walls were closed. Then we have auricular systole, that is sino-auricular node, discharges impulses, and this makes the auricle to start contraction. So once the auricles, they start contracting, the ventricles, they start to get filled with blood at a higher rate. How much higher? 30% than the earlier rate. 30% higher than the earlier rate, and the ventricles have all the blood now, but auricles with no blood. So this sets up the third stage, that is ventricular systole. The third stage is ventricular systole. Now what is going to happen? All the blood is filled in ventricles. Now remember the SA node, remember AV node, remember bundle of His. Okay, now SA node discharges an impulse. I want to have a bigger diagram. Now SA node discharges impulse, and these impulses are actually picked up by AV node. So what is happening? Whatever impulse is set by SA node is picked by AV node and transmitted to bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. So what happens is, the impulses discharged by SA node is picked up by AV node. From AV node it goes to bundle of His. BOH is bundle of His and PF is Purkinje fibers. So we all know that bundle of His and Purkinje fiber pertains to the ventricular part. So this thing makes the ventricles to contract. So this thing makes the ventricles to contract. Clear? This thing makes the ventricles to contract. Now one thing, answer me, if the ventricles are contracting in this area, you see this? If the ventricles are contracting in this area, this area is contracting now, won't the blood present in this area will be pushed back to the auricles? If this part is contracting, isn't it possible that blood is going to rush back in the auricles? Very much possible, isn't it? It is possible that if one part is contracting, the ventricle part is contracting, it is actually going to push back the blood in the auricles. So for that purpose, what happens is, as soon as the ventricles start to contract, the tricuspid and the bicuspid walls close. So tricuspid and bicuspid walls close as soon as the ventricles, they start to contract. So what is the resultant of this? Now the blood flow in the auricles will not happen. So this is to prevent the blood flow to the auricles. Close, and this prevents blood flow in auricles. So auricles will not have a backflow of blood. But because of this thing, because of the closure of tricuspid and bicuspid valve, there will be a sound, there will be a heart sound. There will be a heart sound produced. This produces a heart sound called as lub. Sorry. This produces the first heart sound, in fact, called as lub. So done with this. So first heart sound is by the closure of tricuspid and bicuspid valve. Okay? Fine? Tell me if it's clear. So what is the first heart sound? It is lub when the tricuspid and bicuspid valves close. Why do tricuspid and bicuspid valves close? To prevent the backflow of blood in the auricles. See, I've taught you this also. To prevent the backflow of the blood in the auricles. Now, next thing, so when the ventricles are contracting, okay, when the ventricles are contracting, don't you think at the same time the auricles should be relaxing? Tell me if it's true. Everybody. So when the ventricles are contracting, tell me if the auricles are relaxing. Yes, they are. Why? Because they have already done their work. They have pumped the blood in the ventricles. Now they are not having any blood. They don't know what to do now. So what they are going to do now is they are going to relax. Just sit back and relax. Why? Because they have done their work. Okay? So the same time period, we have two phases. When the ventricles contract, the auricles relax simultaneously. Okay. So now ventricles contract. What happens when the ventricles contract? Tell me, what would happen? Tell me. Obviously, we need to open the semilunar valves. So semilunar valves open and there is flow of blood from ventricles to what parts? To lungs and aorta. So once the blood has been transferred, isn't it? So semilunar valves open and there is flow of blood from the ventricles into the lungs and aorta. Now once all the blood has been sent by ventricles, okay, once the ventricles are now empty, they have sent all the blood into the aorta and pulmonary artery. Now ventricles, they are having no blood. So immediately the blood, when the blood is transferred in artery and aorta, what happens is the semilunar valve closes. Valves close after blood transfer from which parts? Ventricles into pulmonary artery plus aorta. So when blood is transferred, after this position, we actually have the closure of the semilunar valve, and this produces the second heart sound. When the semilunar valve closes, this produces the second heart sound, that is dub. So we have two heart sounds. What are they? They are lub and dub. Clear with everybody? Tell me if it is not. Just give me a thumbs up if it is clear. Everybody. Everybody. Very nice. Very good. So we have, once again, let us revise everything. Did you copy everything? Did you copy? Tell me, children. Yes, Chula Chandpur, are you getting? Chula Chandpur? Tell me, Chula Chandpur, if you are connected, if you are able to get whatever is being taught. Tell me yes. Yes, child. Let's once again revise the whole cardiac cycle. So the cardiac cycle has two phases, namely systole and diastole. So systole is for contraction and diastole is for relaxation. Okay? So what is joint diastole? Joint diastole is a phase. The first phase of the cardiac cycle is joint diastole, where the auricles and ventricles, both of them are in relaxed state. So what you are going to do? You are going to get the heart filled with blood. The heart is getting filled with blood. We can see over here also it is getting blood from body, lungs. The heart is rushing with blood. Now, what is the main thing over here to be noted? That the semilunar valves closes. It remains closed. During this point of time, it remains closed. Now, once we start with auricular systole, why auricular systole? Why? Because the SA node, remember, it was present in the auricles, right auricle. So SA node starts to discharge impulse, and because of this impulse, the auricles start to contract. So this contraction is going to push the blood in the ventricles and at a rate of 30% higher than the initial rate. Once all the blood has been pushed into the ventricle, this will be marking the closure of the tricuspid and bicuspid valve with a heart sound called as lub, isn't it? So now the impulses are discharged, the ventricles also get filled with blood, and they are pushing the blood in the pulmonary artery and aorta. So before that, what we need the semilunar valves to get open. Once the blood has been transferred from the ventricle into the great arteries, the semilunar valves will close, and this will produce the second heart sound called as dub. So your heart sounds are lub and dub. Two heart sounds. Single beat, two heart sound. Okay? One heartbeat. But two heart sounds. So in one heartbeat we are having two heart sounds. What are they? The first is lub, the second is dub. Fine? So lub and dub is your heart sound. Two heart sounds in a single heartbeat. So semilunar valves close, producing the second heart sound dub. Now, whenever the ventricles are pushing the blood, isn't it? When the ventricles are pushing the blood, they're actually having a term called as Stokes volume. We define Stokes volume equal to the volume of blood pumped by each ventricle during cardiac cycle. So what we know is that we know Stokes volume to be a volume of blood which is to be pumped from each ventricle during a phase called as cardiac cycle. So how much is it? It is 70 ml. Okay. Fine. So how many times your heart beats? Per minute. How many times your heart beats per minute? How many times your heart beats per minute? I will be giving you some options. You tell me what is correct, okay? Just answer me A, B, C, D. Okay. It's 30, 72, 80, 45. Okay? If it's 1, show me this thing. If it's 2, the no part, what you used to show me. Okay? What for 3? Tell me what symbol are you going for 3? This is for 2, isn't it? Okay. This is for 3. Okay, this is for 3. Okay, fine. And what is for 4? 4? What for 4? Okay, fine. Anyways, you answer me this question. How many times your heart is going to beat? How many times your heart is going to beat? Okay, very good. So it's 72 times, very much clear. From now onwards, we'll be using this code only. Okay, so it is going to beat 72 times in a single minute. Okay, I'm just clearing off the rest of the mess from here. So our heart beats at the rate of 72 times in a single minute. Per minute it is 72 times. Now, next thing. If your heart is beating 72 times in a single minute, can you give me the duration of cardiac cycle? Can you give me the duration of cardiac cycle? So you're having 72 cardiac cycles, very much clear, because I told you one heartbeat is one cardiac cycle, and in one cardiac cycle we have 2 heart sounds. So if it is 72 times in a single minute, how much time is a cardiac cycle of? Just type the answer for me. It's easy. Is it close to somewhat this thing? Shwachan, very good. Is it close to somewhat this thing? 0.8 seconds? It must be. If it is 72 times in a single minute, then one cardiac cycle should be of 0.8 seconds. That is timing. So, what data we are having? We are having a data that is giving you strokes volume. We are having a data that gives you the number of times your heart is beating. Can we take out cardiac output? Yes, we can. So cardiac output has a timing of, or is a volume that is actually heart able to pump in a single minute. So how much blood is your heart going to pump in a single minute is called as cardiac output. Okay, so if it's 70 into 72 times, that gives the total volume to be 5040 ml, which is actually equivalent to 5 liters. So in a single minute, we have 5 liters of blood being pumped by your heart. In a single minute, your heart is pumping 5 liters of blood. That's together in lungs. What is going on? What happened, Shillong? What is a high five for? What happened? Okay, fine. So cardiac output is 70 ml multiplied by 72 times per minute, which gives you a volume of 5040 ml, and together it is 5 liters approximately. So this is cardiac output. Strokes volume was 70 ml. I will be defining strokes volume as the volume of blood pumped by each ventricle during cardiac cycle. So the volume of blood during each cardiac cycle happens to be 70 ml, and if you multiply it by number of times your heart is beating. Okay, so if somebody is sick, isn't it? If somebody is not feeling well, having high fever, we all know that we have our heart rate increased during high fever. It goes as high as 80 times per minute. So during fever, during high fever, will the cardiac output increase or decrease? It is going to increase or decrease? First or second? Yes, girls, please be here in the class. Okay, is it going to increase or decrease? Everybody. Everybody, each and every child. Yes, very good. So obviously, if the number of times your heart is beating is going to increase, that will be obviously increasing your cardiac output. Why? Because if this increases, this thing also increases. Am I clear? Everybody? Okay, very nice. These things are clear. So one thing we got over here, I did not discuss, is 0.8 seconds, the timing of your cardiac cycle. Let us split this timing into the phases of the cardiac cycle, the different phases we have to discuss. Let us split into these. So your joint diastole is of somewhat 0.4 seconds. Just keep on marking things. Your joint diastole is of 0.4 seconds. Okay? Am I clear? Joint diastole is of 0.4 seconds. We are splitting the phases of the cardiac cycle. I told you the cardiac cycle is of 0.8 seconds. Now what we are going to do? We are going to divide the phases according to their timing. Now this auricular systole is of 0.1 second. This is of 0.1 second, auricular systole. Okay? And what is left? Ventricular systole is left, which is obviously of 0.3 seconds. So joint diastole 0.4, auricular systole 0.1, and ventricular systole of 0.3 seconds. Can I draw a pie chart? Can I draw a pie chart of somewhat? We all know pie chart, isn't it? We have been through these things in our junior classes. So this would be 0.1, this would be 0.3, this would be 0.4. So this is what? This is JD, joint diastole. This is ventricular systole, and this is auricular systole. So auricular systole of 0.1 seconds, joint diastole of 0.4 seconds, and ventricular systole of 0.3 seconds. Okay. So from this data, can you tell me the timing of auricular diastole and ventricular diastole? Yes, Churachandpur, Shillong. Tell me. Can you tell me the timing of auricular diastole or ventricular diastole? Try it. Everybody? Please try. Calculate it, in fact. Please don't talk. Please do this thing. Churachandpur, Shillong. Please. Update with an answer as soon as possible. Churachandpur, Shillong, both of you. Please update and answer. Timing for auricular diastole and ventricular diastole from the given data. You have been given a data of joint diastole, auricular systole and ventricular. This kind of question comes in NEET. They won't be asking you what is timing for auricular systole. Everybody knows it, isn't it? Because everybody has done the cardiac cycle part very nicely. What kind of question can come is timing of auricular diastole, which is actually not given in the book. You want me to do? You want me to solve it for you? Tell me. You want me to solve it for you? Shillong, I guess your key has like stuck somewhere. Okay. Let us do. Okay, everybody see carefully. Now, when I'm being asked about auricular diastole, obviously I want that timing to be out of 0.8 seconds, isn't it? Auricular diastole will be always from the timing of 0.8 seconds. It will be always less than 0.8 seconds because the whole cardiac cycle takes a time of 0.8 seconds. Now, if it is 0.8 seconds, obviously less than 0. Now, when I am not studying, what I am doing? I am relaxing. When I am not studying, when I am not teaching you, I am relaxing. The same way applies to you also. The same thing applies to you also. When you are not studying, what you are doing? You are relaxing. So when your auricles are contracting, they are doing work. And when they are not contracting, they are actually relaxing. That means I need to subtract the timing in which it was working from the total timing for cardiac cycle. So my auricle was only working for 0.1 seconds. Isn't it? Rest of the time it was doing what? It was relaxing. So the timing for auricular diastole would be 0.8 seconds. Am I clear? Everybody? So when your auricles are not pumping blood, they are actually relaxing, and it was pumping blood for only 0.1 seconds. For the rest, 0.7 seconds, it was relaxing, it was in auricular diastole. Next. Similarly, the ventricles were not working during this time period. It was working only for 0.3 seconds, but it was not working for 0.5 seconds. So the auricular diastole would be what? The auricular diastole would be of 0.7 seconds and ventricular diastole would be of 0.5 seconds. And in the meanwhile, when both of them were relaxing, that was 0.4 seconds. That was the overlapping time when both auricles and ventricles were relaxing. That was this timing, the joint diastole part. So at this particular point, the auricles and ventricles, both of them were relaxing. So you can just imagine a situation when you have a younger sibling, isn't it? Very, very young sibling. So they have exams starting very late and finishing very early, isn't it? The exams, they start late and finish early, whereas we as elder siblings, we used to have the exam starting early, no doubt, but it used to end later. So there was a time period when your sibling used to disturb you. There must be a time period. That is the particular time period in which he or she is relaxing. That is auricular diastole. So they do their work early, they have finished their exam early, and now they are enjoying. You have lots of work to do. You are actually working for 0.3 seconds. And once you finish up with your exams, you start to relax. In the meantime, your younger sibling is also relaxing with you. So he started to relax earlier than you. He started to relax earlier than you, but he is also relaxing with you. So there must be a phase which is overlapping. Actually, you are in a less of relaxation phase, and he or she, your younger sibling, is in a more of relaxing phase. So this is what is auricle. Auricle is the younger sibling and ventricle is the elder sibling. So auricles, they finish up their work early and they start to relax also early for a longer time limit. Whereas ventricles, they are the elder siblings. They start to work early and they finish late too. So they have a lesser timing to relax. But however, both of them can go to a place to visit together when they are having holidays together. Isn't it? Am I clear? Everybody? Okay. So auricles are the younger siblings. How many of you have young siblings? How many of you have younger siblings? How many of you have younger? I too have a younger sibling. Okay. How many of you have younger siblings? Fine. So how many of you are young siblings? Okay, fine. So are they disturbing you, your younger siblings? Are they disturbing you always? Tell me. Yes, they are actually. What to do? Same story everywhere. Okay, fine. So this must be very much clear that auricular diastole is of how much timing and ventricular diastole is of how much timings. Okay? So let us do some questions. I won't be teaching you now. I will be asking you to do some questions. I will be showing you some images. Okay, fine? Okay? So don't forget about an assignment I will be giving you tonight in fact. So you'll be getting an assignment and please do those questions before next class. Okay? Since we are having only once in a week class, I suppose we are also practicing multiple choice questions. I will be updating the books names and everything on the group. So be updated. Okay, we'll talk about all those things in the groups. Okay. So let's do some questions. Okay. Fine. Okay. Do this question for me. Please. I told I'm not teaching. I did not say I'm leaving the class. Okay. Please do this question. Yes, children. Chuachandpur. Please do this question. The things are clear up to now. Chuachandpur. Please tell me. Are the things clear? Very nice. Very good. Very good, Chuachandpur. Very nice. What's your name? Child? Child at Chuachandpur, what's your name? What is going on, Shillong? What happened? I did not get any answer from you. Oh, okay. Ready for the answer? Okay, fine. What are you trying to show me? Okay, in a cardiac output of 5. Okay. Okay, nice. Very nice. So, in a cardiac output of 5250 ml. Solve this please, Chuachandpur. 5250 ml per minute. So, in a single minute, how much cardiac output we are having? We are having 5250. Isn't it? So, with 75 heartbeats. How much heartbeats? 75 heartbeats in a single minute. What are you busy doing in? What are you busy with? Okay. So 75 heartbeats in a single minute. Yeah, I got your answer. You are answering me number 2. Fine. I got your answer number 2. So let me discuss. So 75 heartbeats per minute. The strokes volume is how much? So it's 75 heartbeat per minute. That means we need to divide this whole data in a way that, yes, your answer is correct. Very good. So we need to divide the whole data. How is it? It was 5250 and the heartbeat was 75 times. So when you subtract this, all the things, so it must be x multiplied by 75 to get an answer of 5250. That's the equation. So what is for x? 5250 upon 75, that gives you a total of how much? How much is it? Is it 70? It's very much 70. Fine? Okay, next question. Okay, answer me this question, please. We have done this thing. Okay, answer me this question. Talking about pulse pressure. See, pulse pressure is the pressure, systolic pressure minus the diastolic pressure. We all know our blood pressure is 120 by 80. Isn't it? That's the normal blood pressure we have. We all know. The blood pressure is 120 by 80. 120 is for systole and 80 is for diastole. So if the blood pressure is 120 by 80, we have to take out pulse pressure. So pulse pressure is what? Pulse pressure is the difference between systolic and the diastolic pressure. So this question is actually asking about pulse pressure. Can you give me the answer? Yes, Churachandpur? Shillong? Yes, very good. So this comes out to be 40. What unit you are using? We are using mmHg. Isn't it? We have studied all these things. So the first option is correct. That is difference between systolic and diastolic gives you pulse pressure, and pulse pressure is equal to 120 minus 80. That is 40. Okay, fine. Churachandpur, Shillong? Okay. So this is a double circulation slide from your book only. This is a double circulation slide from your book. So this part is actually the part which is supplying to the lungs, so called as pulmonary circulation. And this part is supplying to the system, so called as systemic circulation. So we can see very well, this is the heart, this right part, right ventricle, right auricle. So right ventricle, it is, the body parts are pumping blood into the right auricle. From the right auricle, it is entering the right ventricle. From the ventricle, it is going to pulmonary artery to lungs. And from the lungs, the system is now coming back to the heart, and from heart it is going to the body. So this constitutes the systemic and pulmonary circulation. Fine? Okay? So this is the flow of blood in your heart in a diagrammatic view. You can see the blood is rushing in the vena cava over here. The dots, you can follow the dots. So this is entering in the right auricle. From the right auricle, it is moving to right ventricle. Everybody see over here. From the right ventricle, it is again going to the pulmonary artery and aorta, to the lungs and to the system. Now this pulmonary vein, the clean blood is coming from the lungs, and the red one, it is entering in the left auricle. The oxygenated blood cells move into the left auricle to left ventricle, and from left ventricle it is going into the aorta. See, the red one. Churachandpur, Shillong, just follow this please once again. So the blue dot is showing the impure blood. So the blood is reaching into the ventricular, right auricle. From right auricle it is going into right ventricle, then to the pulmonary artery, to the lungs. Fine? This blood is coming back from the lungs into the auricle, left auricle, and from left auricle it is going to left ventricle. Okay? Okay, fine. Very good. Done with this thing? Give me a thumbs up if you have understood this thing very clearly. Up to now, if things are clear. Everybody, each and every child. Okay, very nice. Very good, very good. So, we have two things left. I'll be discussing with you that in the next class. We have two things left. I am leaving ECG and the disorders from the circulatory system. Okay, and we'll be doing those things in the next class. Okay, in the meantime, tell me if any chapter is to be, like, what chapter you want after this? What chapter we should start with in the next class? You tell me, you suggest me. Which chapter do you want in the next class? Yes, Churachandpur? Shillong, tell me. Otherwise, I will start a chapter on my own wish. Any chapter will do. Okay, let's see. I don't have any response from your side. So, okay, Churachandpur, are we clear with things up till now? Tell me. Churachandpur, are we clear with the things up till now? Be nice. What chapter do you want me to start in the next class? So I will be sending you assignment today. Don't forget to do that before the next class. It's a request. Shillong, you're typing something. Okay, fine. Okay, my choice. Fine, no issues. Okay, fine. So we'll be leaving this class and okay, fine. So I will try to do that first. So what we'll be doing is that we'll be going back home and doing some assignments. And before we leave, there should be a very, very clear perception what we are here for, isn't it? We are here for an exam called as NEET. Everybody, Shillong, Churachandpur, everybody be serious about it, please. It's a kind request and be serious from today onwards only. Don't be in a playful mood from today, like we'll be getting serious later onwards. We have so much of time left. Don't have that perception. Time is actually very short. We are having too much of syllabus and we need cooperation from both the sides, from your side as well as from my side, to finish that in time as well as to get selected also in NEET. So, please go back home and study hard. Thank you so much. See you again. Bye.